we are true fighters.
Yeah, two fighters.
True fighters.
True, yeah. No, not YouTuber fighters.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah.
They need to talk and talk shit about the fight because they want to say something. But people know we are great fighters. We want to put a great fight. Yeah.
It's happened. Canelo Crawford, 13th of September in Las Vegas. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Canelo. Thank you, Crawford. Thank you, Netflix. Bella. Thank you, Bella. Thank you, all your team in Netflix. Thank you, Nick Khan, TKO. Thank you, Dana.
Canelo Alvarez finds himself now preparing for the biggest boxing event of his highly successful life and career. In only 3 months, Alvarez on September 13th will step in there with pound-for-pound boxing king Terence Crawford. In a fiery first face-off with Terence Crawford this week, Canelo Alvarez didn't hold back. Taking a jab at the rise of YouTube fighters, he slammed the trend, making it clear that this clash is the real deal. Canelo said, "This isn't a circus. This is boxing at its highest level. Him and Crawford don't need to talk." While standing in the middle of two fighters, a Saudi Arabian advisor, Turki Al-Sheikh, said he is confident that this fight will break all the records and will become the greatest fight in boxing history.
But people know we are great fighters. We want to put a great fight. Yeah. We don't need to talk.
I am sure in the end in the mid of September we will have one of the greatest fight ever happen in boxing. And I am sure.
What's more important to note is that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have officially signed their contracts for the highly anticipated showdown on September 13th. With the boxing world watching, the two pound-for-pound greats have sealed the deal for what promises to be a historic battle. The first true super fight between two pound-for-pound professional boxing champions is breaking new ground, streaming live on Netflix, the world's largest platform. Not long ago, Alvarez turned down a deal to fight former YouTuber Jake Paul and signed with Turki Al-Sheikh and to fight Crawford instead. Paul fights former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. this month, next up on June 27th in California. Talking about the predictions on his huge fight, Matchroom CEO Frank Smith recently addressed that this is a monumental moment for boxing. With the best players like TKO, Dana White, and Netflix involved, the scale of the event is unprecedented. He sees it as not just one of the biggest fights of the year, but potentially the biggest in the sport today. On the flip side, Smith emphasized that Canelo remains a global megastar, while Crawford has elevated himself massively, especially after his dominant win over Errol Spence. Together, they bring elite skill, star power, and momentum, making the fight a can't-miss global spectacle.
It's a huge fight, and you know, obviously with TKO, Dana White involved as well, and Netflix, as you say, it's a massive fight. Probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest fight in the sport. And yeah, it's going to be huge. Vegas, September, massive. Canelo, look, Canelo's a superstar of the sport. We all know that. And I think Crawford, in recent times, has shown, you know, he's built himself into a great position, you know, with the Errol Spence fights, etc. And yeah, it's going to be a massive occasion. It's going to be a massive occasion for the sport, and it's great for the sport.
While many boxing analysts are favoring Canelo to win this fight, but famous Coach Bullet is backing Terence Crawford to pull off the upset. He even called Bud a magician in the ring, more refined than Teofimo or Roy Jones Jr. at their peaks. He says Canelo's slowed down, doesn't move like he used to, and can be outboxed over 12 rounds.
Spoke on this before, and I think you mentioned Bud was going to beat Canelo?
Yeah, like I said, Bud is a magician, like Teofimo and like Roddy, but just more seasoned than the both of those other two. Bud could do it if anybody could do it. At this age, Canelo's movement and mobility is not the same. He's not engaging like he did before, but I want to advise Bud to stand toe-to-toe with him. I would drag him into a boxing match and see his condition and his movement in the later rounds. And try to win on points.
There's a warning. Bullet insists Bud should drag him into a technical fight, test his gas tank, and go for points. Not a war. Still, he's not blind to the risk. At 168, Canelo's bone structure and natural size are serious threats, and Bullet's not sure Crawford's strength alone can match up.
If you touch him, yeah, finish him. But I won't take that gamble unless I know it's what's up. But on the pound for pound, rules of the pound for pound at 168, we cannot take a Canelo at 168 lightly against Bud Crawford. You see what I'm saying? Canelo is the kingpin of 68. He may have lost at 75 trying to jump out the gym for greatness. You know what I'm saying? The Skull performance was, you know, Skull is a mover, like the Arizona Lara.
Coach Bullet respects Terence Crawford's skills and gives him a real shot against Canelo, calling it a true 50-50 fight. But he's honest. Canelo was born for 168. That's his natural division, and his size, frame, and durability give him a slight edge. In the same way, Bullet's main concern is bone structure. Canelo's never been dropped, even after wars with punchers like Bivol. Crawford is strong. Bullet admits that, but doubts remain about whether Bud can hurt a guy built like Canelo.
The pound for pound is a real thing. That bone structure is the only thing that's making me go 1% more to Canelo than Bud. You know what I'm saying? So Bud is strong. They told me, oh, before he fought Earl Spence, see, Bud's strong. Da, da, da. You know, me, Bomac, and the other trainer was going, you know, saying what we had to say to each other. And, you know, he made a good name for himself fighting Earl Spence, but the world knows that's a C-level Earl Spence that he fought.
Meanwhile, as the anticipation is growing over who will take the belt, Canelo's former opponent, Caleb Plant, doesn't believe Canelo Alvarez is the same fighter he once was. Reflecting on Canelo's recent performance against William Skull, Plant noted that Canelo struggled with movement and didn't seem as sharp as in past fights. He expected that, especially since Canelo himself has admitted he doesn't like facing fighters who move a lot, something Skull, a Cuban-style boxer, brought to the table.
And what'd you think of Canelo over the weekend? Did that look like the same type of Canelo you fought a few years ago? And yeah, what'd you think of that?
No, I don't think it's the same Canelo. Not quite, but also I kind of figured it was going to be like that, honestly. You know, I heard Canelo say in the interview, like, I don't really like fighting guys who move around that much like that. And William Skull being a Cuban fighter, like, I knew he was going to do that. And so was curious to see, you know, how Canelo would handle that. And, you know, he kept the ring off well, but that guy just, I felt like he didn't really want no part.
While Plant sees Canelo aging and believes that opens the door for Terence Crawford, he stated that Skull and Crawford are completely different stylistically, and that September's fight will be a far more exciting and competitive showdown. As for a potential rematch with Canelo, Plant feels confident he could win with a few adjustments. And if Crawford does beat Canelo and takes the belts at 168, Plant made it clear Crawford would be on his radar too. He wants to face the best, and he's ready to prove it.
Get the job done.
What about Crawford? Do you think his chances got better, at least the way how you were seeing things heading into the last fight with him and Skull?
I think it's a stylistic matchup, you know, and William Skull don't fight nothing like Terence Crawford. So we're not going to see the same type of fight come September. I think we're going to see a great fight, real good fight.
You and Terence have always had like a good relationship, but if he makes Canelo come off the titles, is he on your radar then in the division?
Yeah, I mean, all the top super middleweights are on my radar. You know, I want to face the best, and you know, a lot of fighters say that, but I don't feel like a lot of them have shown and proved that. I feel like I've shown and proved that, so I want to face the best.
However, there are some concerns. Analysts are putting on for Crawford's side. No doubt he is a best fight, but boxing analyst Stephen A. isn't holding back when it comes to Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight. In his view, the idea of Bud jumping up 3 weight classes and 21 pounds to face Canelo is just wrong. Referring to Jermell Charlo's failed attempt, he says the size difference is too much, even for a fighter as talented as Crawford.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermell Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life.
Moreover, Stephen A. warns that Crawford will pay the price to choose the wrong opponent. Almost far better than him, but he said Crawford is great, but Canelo at 168 is too big, too strong, and too dangerous. According to Stephen A., it's a fight Bud should walk away from before it's too late.
And he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Paulo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for fight Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
Similarly, Terence Crawford has officially kicked off training camp ahead of his historic clash with Canelo Alvarez. In the UFC camp, Crawford is laser focused, sharpening in on every detail as he prepares for the biggest fight of his career. With the world watching and the bout set to stream live on Netflix this September, the pound-for-pound star is leaving nothing to chance in his pursuit of greatness. As training camp intensifies, Terence Crawford is working on his skills to dismantle Canelo Alvarez's fast punches. He is working specifically on timing, angles, and defensive movement to stay one step ahead. Known for his ability to adapt mid-fight, Bud is drilling precision footwork and reflex-based counters designed to offset Canelo's trademark explosiveness. With every session, it's clear Crawford isn't just preparing physically, he's building a strategic blueprint to beat one of boxing's most dangerous punchers. With Canelo known for his explosive hand speed and sharp counters, Terence "Bud" Crawford is doubling down on rapid movement and footwork in camp. He's fine-tuning his ability to stay elusive, slip punches, and create angles, knowing that outsmarting Canelo's rhythm will be key to victory. This isn't just another fight for Crawford, it's a shot at greatness. A win on September 13th wouldn't just make history, it could cement Bud's place as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Furthermore, Crawford is going all in as he prepares to face Canelo Alvarez, the reigning super middleweight champion and one of boxing's biggest icons. Determined to make history, Crawford is leaving no stone unturned, training with surgical focus, pushing his body to the limit, and refining every aspect of his game. From rapid movement drills to strategic sparring, he's building a game plan designed to neutralize Canelo's power and precision.
Alvarez is already in a, that's how you're supposed to start. See how Crawford started? Look at the bounce in his legs. 10 years running as a champion, everything that he's accomplished, and he still act like this is his first day in the gym. He's excited to be here.
As the fight is just coming in 3 months, Crawford knows that the key to defeat Canelo is through good boxing. That's why he's laser focused on sharpening his boxing strategy. Crawford is fine-tuning the kind of high IQ, technical style that can beat even a champion like Canelo.
You gonna help me?
Meanwhile, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. believes Terence Crawford is simply outmatched when it comes to facing Canelo Alvarez. In his view, Canelo has been fighting at super middleweight far too long and has grown dominant at that size, something Bud can't just overcome with speed alone. While Crawford's quickness is elite, Chavez Jr. doesn't believe he carries enough power at 168 to make Canelo respect him or slow him down.
Mira, yo pienso que Canelo es muy fuerte, bueno y grande para Crawford. O sea, el tiempo que él tiene peleando en ese peso, yo Canelo 80-20, 70-30, Canelo. Yo no veo de dónde Crawford le gana.
Rapidez de Crawford.
Sí, o sea, rapidez de Crawford, pero no tiene la potencia como para que Canelo lo respete. Parece, vamos a ver.
On the other hand, he gave Canelo a massive edge, saying it's 70-30 or even 80-20 in favor of the Mexican star. He acknowledged Canelo's experience and boxing IQ, and even noted how surprised he was to see someone like Jake Paul publicly backing Canelo. For Chavez Jr., Crawford's skills are undeniable, but against Canelo at that weight, he just doesn't see a path to victory.
Canelo ha hecho su trabajo, es un gran boxeador. Pues tener el apoyo de Canelo es importante, es bueno, porque así una parte de México y de muchas partes pues me va a apoyar, sus fanáticos que él tiene ya también. Y pues yo no esperaba que apoyara a Jake Paul, Canelo.
As the countdown to September 13th begins, the boxing world holds its breath. Will Terence "Bud" Crawford shock the world and rise through the weight to conquer greatness? Or will Canelo Alvarez remind everyone why he rules at 168? It's not just a fight, it's a battle for history, legacy, and pound-for-pound supremacy. Who has more to lose in this fight, Canelo or Crawford? Is Crawford biting off too much by moving up to 168 to face Canelo? Can Canelo handle Crawford's speed and boxing IQ? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.